It's Friday night, and we are hours away from the big fight. Artur Beterviev defends his unified light heavyweight championship of the world in the UK, in London, against the beast from the East, Anthony Yarde. Let's talk about it at length, live, at only one place, BWTM Sports. See you in a minute. Right, Artur Beterbiev versus Anthony Yarde. Let's update the picture. There we go now. Yarde versus Beterbiev. Beterbiev versus Yarde for the unified light heavyweight championship of the world. So, video inspired by Liam. Good evening, Taylor. Hope you do well. So, inspired by Liam, asked me earlier while I was doing my FIFA, I was going to have some final thoughts on the fight. So, here they are. First of all, it's more difficult to do prediction videos when you actually have met the people you're talking with. Anthony Yarde, big fan of Anthony Yarde. Yes, I would rush home to watch Anthony Yarde fight. And of course, Tunde Ajayi, who I've known for a long while now. What's happening? Yes, London Pitbull Terriers. What's going on? You tell me, brother, what's going on? I hope you all is well with you. So, yeah, going to do this breakdown video. Obviously, those who know the channel well, know of my relationship with Yarde and of Tunde Ajayi. The questions I had before going into the Kovalev fight really haven't been answered for this fight, to be honest. Because, you know, yes, he beat Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon Arthur beat him first. I understand what was going on, the background, what was going on in his life. Then he went back and he smashed Lyndon Arthur to bits. But then the fight after that, fought a guy that was D level at best, and he was getting clipped with shots, and that was concerning me from the start. I am concerned. There are many concerns, but I want to wish, before I start, Anthony Yarde, Tunde Ajayi, and all Team Yarde the very best in this fight. They'll need it, but I wish him the very best. I really do. Now, you make an interesting point here. You say here, well, if Callum Smith can drop him, then surely Yarde can. Well, it's like saying, I'll tell you how that works out. If Evander Holyfield can drop, if Evander Holyfield can drop Ray Mercer, then Lennox Lewis can do it too. Don't quite work that way. It doesn't work that way. You got to think about the fact that Callum Johnson, stellar amateur career and a good pro as well. Anthony Yarde, limited amateur experience, as we know, has been told to us over and over again, and a pro style, which has still got more questions than answers. There are many questions I have about Anthony Yarde that still have not been answered. Like, for example, how strong is Anthony Yarde? How physically strong is he? Can he actually take a good punch? How actually good is his defense? What is he like when he's under pressure? And has he got another gear? And in the later rounds, can he actually step up a gear? And if things are not working in his favor, can he make changes? All these questions I still haven't got answers to yet about Anthony Yarde's career. I don't know. And if you've gone through the right, like on British, Commonwealth, European world, along the road, you would have found more questions would have been answered. But we didn't see that. We've not seen that. And as for his punching power, again, all these people saying that Yarde's a big puncher. Who's the best guy Yarde's actually knocked out? Not viciously knocked out. And then you look at Beterbiev, or Beterbiev, and you look at his resume. You look at the last 3 or 4 guys he's fought and knocked out, and then look at Yarde's last 3 or 4 fights, and the guys he's been knocking out. Do you understand? That's where you look at the last fight he had was against Joe Smith Jr. Could Yarde do that to Joe Smith Jr.? I don't think so. Now, Joe Smith Jr. going into this fight against Beterbiev said, right, if this guy goes through the front door, means goes in straight lines and goes in straight lines and tries to attack Artur Beterbiev, he's going to get smashed to bits. And Joe Smith Jr. had no game plan. Do you know why I had no game plan? Because I think when he got in the ring and looked at Artur Beterbiev, he said, you know what, flip this. I'm just going to go out there and throw my best shot. And I'd see if I can. And he went out there, his game plan was quite similar to how Robert Helenius went to Deontay Wilder, going through the front door, no game plan, no side to side, straightforward, bang, and go straight into a big shot. So I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand any of that strategy. So, and even game plans. But anyway, there's some things about this fight. Like, if Yarde is to win this fight, let's look at it on a positive side. If Yarde is to win this fight, what would be the reasons Yarde wins this fight? Artur Beterbiev gets old overnight. Okay, if he gets old, then that's gonna happen. If he in the first few 3-4 rounds, you would think that Beterbiev would have the fight under control. If he's gonna fall apart at any point, it'd be in the latter half of the fight. Let's say from round 7 onwards. That's where you think Beterbiev, if he's gonna slow down, it'd be the second half of the fight. It wouldn't be the first half of the fight. It'd be the second half of the fight. But to say that, Yarde's got to be round the second half of the fight. It's all right being big and strong and having muscles, but you can't put muscles on the chin. And the thing is, despite the shoulder roll, despite all the defense that Yarde has shown, he's still getting hit. It's still easy to hit with a jab. It's still easy to hit with straight right hand. He's open to hit with the uppercut. He comes leaping in with a left hook and leaves himself wide open. Beterbiev has to literally fall apart in this fight, quite literally. The only other way I can think of Yarde actually winning this fight is by getting Artur Beterbiev to overreach and then counting him over the top of the right hand. That's what I'm thinking. But is Yarde that good? Is Yarde good enough to do that? And there's another mix to this as well. Let's not forget Ramsey, the trainer. That guy is a top boxing trainer. That guy, that Mark Ramsey, French Canadian, that guy is a top trainer. When you talk about strategy, that guy studies fighters. He studies fighters. He breaks them down. And that, not only Beterbiev has a great stellar amateur pedigree, right? And he's got a great pro career and all those knockouts against legit fighters. The other thing is, he's got a top trainer in his corner. So Mark Ramsey would have studied Anthony Yarde. And if I'm sitting here and I'm watching, go back and watch Yarde's last fight. That guy was clipping him in the first round. And even the other guy, what's his name? Ford, I think. The American that was catching Yarde when Yarde was throwing all them shots. Now, I also wonder, here's another way I think Yarde could win this fight. He's in England and the referee. Let's say Yarde catches Artur early. He jumps, he comes out look at the corner first round and looks to nail Artur early. Hurts him. The referee comes in and stops the fight early. Think about that. That's the only way I see Yarde beating Artur Beterviev, because he's not outboxing him. He's not outboxing him. And the other thing is, what happens? You come out there with that shoulder roll and all that stuff, and the first punch you get hit with, your legs are gone or going. What do you do then? Because that man's got that kind of power that before you can even begin to think about shoulder roll and what all today's been teaching him. You see, when you're in the business of deactivating landmines, you're okay. When you're in the business of deactivating landmines, it's all right. But if you've got little to no experience trying to deactivate landmines, one mistake and boom. And that's when you get to elite level in boxing with these sort of punches. One mistake, not 2 and 3 mistakes, on 4 and 5 mistakes. One mistake, he nails you one shot and your leg stiffens. And before you know it, your back is looking up at the lights. That's the thing. So all that stuff that Yarde's learned, all that stuff, has he had the preparation in terms of fighting, sparring a guy that when he hits you, your legs turn to jelly? Because if you haven't had that, even in the ring, where you haven't had that danger, if you've never fought a guy in your whole life, in your whole career, right, where you've been able to take the best punch the guy throws, you've been able to roll, shake it off and get on with it and not really been hurt, you're almost like slightly deluded, because you're now fighting a man that's got 18 fights, 18 KOs, and he knocks out the top guys. So Beterbiev, on the other hand, has been dropped. He's been hit. He's been hurt. And he's got off the deck and knocked a guy out. So the level of punches that Artur Beterbiev has been hit by and the level of punches that Yarde's been hit by are 2 totally different levels. And like, the way you train is the way how you intend fighting. I always remember Jim Watt saying it. But boxing is very much mental. Put it in your head that you could say, well, with the Kovalev fight, I was told to empty the tank. And I emptied the tank. I was exhausted. So the reason why I got knocked out is because I was exhausted. Okay, fine. So you can always cover that up and say, well, you know, I emptied the tank. But when you fight an opponent and you've come out of a fight where you've been hurt, stunned, rocked, when you go back, you'll think, well, you know what? If I did this move, that move, and this move, and I got nailed with this shot, and I got nailed with that shot, or I'm getting nailed more frequently as I'm moving up in class, I will make the significant adjustments. But if you're getting nailed with those shots, but not by big punches, and thinking it's not a problem, and then in your mind say, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm calculated. Well, yeah, you can be cool and calm and calculated, and everything's cool, and Beterbiev's all right until their hands start to fly. And then there's a problem. This guy's all business. This guy's all business. This guy. So my concerns are when the hands start to fly. Good evening. When the hands start to fly, you talk about war. You may find one person's got a pistol gun in one hand. The other may be carrying a pistol gun when he comes to the fight. And you may be fighting a guy who's got a flipping atomic bomb. And that could be it. Because the guy's Yarde's knocked out, with all due respect, up to this point. And let's be honest, even Sergey Kovalev, the punching power that Yarde's got, when he hit Kovalev with them shots, it didn't knock Kovalev out. It didn't knock Kovalev out. It didn't even get Kovalev's heart hurt as much as Andre Ward did. Yeah, he can be beat. I'm not going on like he can't be beat. Let's read some of these comments now. I have a feeling Beterbiev mauls for Yarde. My feeling is like Yarde, his back is against the ropes and he gets punched straight through the ropes. And you know what? The fight I'm thinking about that comes to mind, Nigel Benn against Jerome McLennan in that first round where Ben gets knocked straight through the ropes. That fight. Looking forward to this fight. Yeah, a lot of people are looking forward to it. What's up, Ingram? If Callum dropped him, Yarde surely can. Yarde is do or die. I respect that. Well, you can respect it, but it's the wrong philosophy to have against this man. It's the wrong philosophy to have against this guy. Because if you have that philosophy, do or die, it's almost like Joe Smith would do or die. Most guys do or die against this guy. I think more the strategy should be survival. Survival. I'm going to try and save my life in here against this guy. And maybe when I'm trying to save my life, I might be more alert, and therefore I'm looking to count this guy. Anytime this guy makes a move, I'm looking to fire a sharp counter. But Beterbiev finished this off within 6 rounds. He dismantled Joe Smith with ease and everyone else who dared to face him. That's the thing. You're talking levels here. You're talking levels in competition or opposition. Yarde looks physically stronger, more powerful than Beterbiev. He looks deceiving. Yarde's best win is British level. The gap in quality opposition is huge, and that's what you've got to look at in boxing. Unlucky the Callum Johnson fight didn't come off. It would have been a real telling. That's the fight. See, a Callum Johnson fight would have told us more about Anthony Yarde. And there's a reason why. Because if Callum Johnson flatlined Anthony Yarde, what would have happened? Although I think that Yarde can flatline Boaxi, I'm not sure if he'd do Callum Johnson. I hope they got the ringside doctor ready. That's why I'm concerned, mate. Yeah, that's the only way Yarde wins if Beterbiev comes up. Oh, that is it. Beterbiev looks like he don't have one-punch knockout power, only combination knockouts. Bro, 18 fights, 18 knockouts. That's all you have to say against legit world-class operators. I'm sure that Darius Sex of the world and Nikolai Soloka are the same or greater level than Beterbiev. God. Travis Reeves, he was an extra for the show that from The Wire. That's who Yarde fought. Go back and look at that fight against Travis Reeves. Travis Reeves called Yarde all sorts of problems. And Travis Reed is nowhere near Beterbiev. And you think if Artur Beterviev is hitting you with them shots, sorry. This is a very good fight, but I don't know if Yarde has enough to take it to the finishing line of 12 rounds or trade back and forth under sustained pressure. So I believe Artur wins by knockout. That's it. And you've got to remember, Yarde fights at his pace. Yarde and Brook fight very similar. Take this punch and take that punch and take this punch and take that punch and then take this and that and this. You watch the way they put their punches together and you look how Brook is built and you look at how Yarde is built. They've got that same sort of top-heavy, muscular build and the way they put the shots together. Look carefully. And some of Yarde's shots are quite telegraphed. Good evening to you, Shook, my brother. It's good to see you in the house. Shelley says, good evening, Ingram. Do you think that if Yarde loses, he'll finally change trainer? I think Tunde did well to take him far, but he's not a top trainer to me. The question is this. When in coaching, like for me, as a coach, I want to see what your end product looks like. I want to know when you finish coaching or when you're coaching your teams, what is the end product? Who are you able to beat? What are you able to achieve? Yeah. So as a coach, I have a product. I have a mindset. And so no matter what team I work with, there's a place I want my players to be, or there's a place I want the team to be. There's a culture I want within the team. Do you understand? And there's an ideology as a coach you have. And then you work with what you have, the players around. So, and then you build your winning team. And let's say if somebody was to look at my track record as a coach and say, all right, he went here and he turned this team around. He went there, he brought these young players through and this happened. He went there. And so with Tunde Ajayi, who spent all his time working with Anthony Yarde, he says Anthony Yarde is his hero. And he's a fan of Anthony Yarde. I remember talking to me, he's focused so much on Anthony, and I get that, It's almost like the Adam Booth, David Hay thing. But does that technique actually hold up at world level? I mean, does it actually bring you home the world title? If it does, then, it proves that Tunde Ajayi is onto something, and he proves that, you know what? He's invested in Yarde, and what he's done with Yarde is pulled off, and he's produced a champion from it. So, but let me ask you, because they've not fought for a British title, they've not fought for a European title, you don't know if Yarde is British, European, or world level. You don't know, because he's jumped from somewhere around Commonwealth level, right? And then he jumped from that level right to world levels. You just don't know. You don't know. And there were clever things that Kovalev did in the fight that Yarde did not adapt to, and it showed in his experience. Okay. How Nigel Benn did not have the refs wave that off in the first round against McClellan was a miracle. Don't know how it was not stopped. It wasn't stopped because Don King did not want it to be stopped. Because if Benn got knocked out in the first round, well, that just wasn't, the fans wanted to see 6-7 rounds of a real fight, not a first round knockout. The wrong attitude to have tried to save my life. You need to go in there. So I'm going to take this guy out. Yeah? Really? You would get your fighter knocked out. You would get your fighter knocked out because you're telling your guy to go out there and go for the knockout against a guy who's seen it before and done it before against superior boxers. So you're just going to go out there and charge him. No. If anything, you're looking for me, I'd be saying, all right, I've got the faster hands here in theory. I've the faster hands and the fresher fighter. So let me see if I can catch and shoot. That for me, to win this fight, Yarde, catch and shoot, and place shots into the body. Dig Beterbiev's body, not his head, go to his body. He got off floor respect versus he got more respect versus Kovalev for going out in his shield than say quit versus Ruiz. Oh God. Oh boy. Oh boy. Even if you have a good boxer, if you don't have something sharp to get Beterbiev's respect or get him to take a backward step, you really do have a problem. That's the thing. But if you go out there first round trying to take Beterbiev out, that's what he's used to. Joe Smith tried it and we saw what happened. So what you've got to do for me, plenty of feints. Draw the lead and counter, sharp. Draw the lead and sharp. And limit the punches that you're throwing. Don't be throwing 3 or 4 punch combinations. Because you're there to be countered. One shot and gone. And don't stay in the same spot. Slip to the sides. And stay in close. And walk Beterbiev back. Slip in, stay close. Stay close to him. Stay tight. Don't allow him to have leverage in his shot. Stay close and get Beterbiev back to the ropes. Stay close. Jab and grab. Push him to the ropes. Use that physical strength. Rough him up on the inside. That's how I would fight Beterbiev. I would not stay on the outside. No chance. And I've said it before, if Yarde stays on the outside against Beterbiev and he allows Beterbiev to use that jab on the outside, good night. Good night. And if he decides to shoulder roll on those ropes, because Yarde's got a nasty habit of backing up to ropes by himself voluntarily, If he does that crap against Beterbiev, he'll get fried on them ropes. Telling you now, fried on them ropes. Yarde reminds me of Robin Reed bodily. Not sure if he is the best, but he can be physically as a boxer. Would love to see what a different trainer would do with him. Yeah. Yeah. Yarde, yeah. And don't forget, Yarde fights in spurts, even sometimes stopping to admire his work. Dangerous stuff, man. Of course it's dangerous stuff. And he does a lot of things that, like, when he gets hit with a jab, there's certain things Yarde does when he gets hit with a jab. Would Yarde win against Marcus Brown, Joe Smith, and Kowalski? No, I don't think he would. You're going to see tomorrow. I might do. I hope I do see tomorrow. Lions in the camp and the new. Let's hope so. Jones. Lions in the camp. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Yarde has had no sparring because of the coach. I think he's been sparring. That's rubbish. Yarde's been sparring. Believe he's been sparring. I believe he'd be a better fighter of a better coach. Yep, that's a lot of people are saying that. I'll be back when Yarde gets the win. Lions in the camp. I hope so. I hope so. Breadman has a similar dedication to Julian J. Rock Williams, but if you want to take other fighters on your stable, they can't be neglected if you're not careful. I get that. Yarde stops him in 8 rounds. Yeah, so Yarde stops him in 8 rounds. So if he stops in 8 rounds, tells me one of 3 things. Beterbiev didn't hit him on the chin. Yarde's got a better defense than I thought he did. And yeah, Yarde's got a better defense than I thought he did. Yarde's a better boxer than I thought he is. And he's got a better defense. That's what I think, if that happens. For a fighter, Yarde size, I will tell him to clench on the inside, rough him up, lean down on Beterbiev, putting weight on the legs, sustain body attacks, lots of tussling and wrestling on to annoy him. Yes, keep close, stay inside, stay close. I'm putting a 5 on Yarde. Why not? Yeah, why not? Your reaction if Beterbiev knocked Yarde out cold with a jab? My reaction would be, I told you so. Because you don't even know if has Yarde got a British chin, a European chin, or world-class chin. Imagine Beterbiev goes out there, and Yarde comes out with that shoulder roll, and the first shot that Beterbiev hits Yarde is out cold on the canvas. Then what are you going to all tell me? If Yarde wins, this should be the least story on your next show with Simeon. Oh, yeah, it should be. It damn well should be. And, Tunde Ajayi, reporting this back, a Nigerian trainer has won the title. That would be fantastic. My head says Yarde, my mind says Beterbiev. Well, I'm going to go with what I know. And what I know, unless Beterbiev is struggling at the weight, unless he's been knocked out in sparring, unless it's something behind closed doors that we don't know about, I'm going with Beterbiev. Based on experience, punching power, his trainer, and just experience. And I just don't think you can cut corners. I just don't think you can jump from British level to world level and nothing in between. I just don't. Because it's not just... So what you're basically telling me, because if you're going to tell me that Anthony Yarde outboxes Artur Beterbiev, well, that's something. So the only way I see Yarde win this fight is if he overpowers Beterbiev. He's got to overpower him. That's it. He's got to overpower him. He's got to overpower within the first 4 to 5 rounds. That's it. Who would be ever in the ring? Beterbiev or Yarde? Probably Yarde. But remember, Beterbiev has been knocking guys out at heavyweight. So that's no joke. Chin levels. That's what I'm talking about, bro. You don't know Yarde's chin. You really don't know Yarde's chin. Not when he's getting hit by this guy who throws straight punches down the pipe. Yarde had no choice but to take this fight. Wow. Some of the work Marcus Brown did, especially the clash and the punch that caused the cut, can be borrowed for the fight against Beterbiev. Just don't back up in a straight line. Yeah, don't back up in a straight line. But what does Anthony Yarde do? He backs up in a straight line. So Yarde's going to have to move from side to side. This is what I'm talking about, lateral movement. And what you naturally do as a fighter, you back straight up in ropes and you rely on your shoulder roll to bide you time and to let your shots go. All the danger, see, that's what I'm talking about, landmines. One mistake against this man and his curtains, one mistake. Yarde hasn't shown yet in his career that he has got that sort of one-punch knockout power against elite. He hasn't. He hit Kovalev with his best shots, and Kovalev was just reeling around the ring. Shoulder roll package working. Product only works once in a lifetime fights. Don't try this at home, LOL. Beterbiev's going to demolish Yarde within 4 rounds. I see it like that. I do. Yarde said that Beterbiev is too slow. He will not keep up with his shoulder roll defense. Well, all right. I hope his stamina is par. But how do we know his stamina is on par? I mean, I saw him on the other day hitting the bag, all that combination punching, but we know from Chris Eubank Jr. that doesn't work in the ring. Bags don't hit back. People are comparing this with Hunnigan Curry, but Lloyd was proven at British European level. That's my point. And okay, so even if you're going to say, all right, if Yarde pulls it off, that's what you call a damn upset, right? It's a damn upset. That's it. That's why upset is in the dictionary. It's a damn upset. And for Artur Beterviev, it's a damn shame, because a man with his experience, a man with his pedigree, should not be getting stopped by Anthony Yarde. No disrespect, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. He should be saying, "Go and learn your trade. Go and learn your trade." That's what should be happening. Bags don't hit like Beterbiev, Bruce Lee said from the grave. That's what I'm saying. All you guys out there are saying, Yarde's going to win 8, Yarde's going to win in 10, Yarde's going to stop in. Well, let's just see the first clean punch Beterbiev lands on Yarde's chin. If it holds up, it doesn't do a stinky leg, or it doesn't fall flat face on the canvas, or he falls on the canvas like Herbie Hyde. Like, we've seen it all before. You can look spectacular and great at a certain level, but as soon as your chin gets checked by somebody, this guy's a chin checker. This guy is a chin checker. Beterbiev is an Olympian, decorated athlete, professional standard, steady and dependable skills. A Yarde win seems unlikely, but not impossible. Not impossible, but unlikely. Outside of Kovalev, Beterbiev, Yarde's a highest level opponent is Lyndon Arthur. And that's my point. That's my point. Beterbiev punches are short and compact. I mean, I don't want to do the resume thing there. I really don't, but I don't see where Yarde has justified a world title shot against Beterbiev. I just don't. Do you think Beterbiev will check the level Yarde chin? Yeah, he'll check it, and he'll check it quick, real quick. Without sounding like a conspiracy theory, Beterbiev is Russian. I pray he gets fair judging and refereeing. Well, think about the fight they want to make, which is Beterbiev versus Bivol. There's more money in Beterbiev versus Bivol than there is in Yarde. Yarde is an unknown quantity. To put FT simply, I have a better chance of having a fluke win over Ingram Jones in cricket once with me cheating like a son of a bitch than Yarde beating Beterbiev, possibly, but unlikely. It's unlikely. But listen, we're all here thinking that Eubank couldn't get stopped by Liam Smith. Liam Smith found a way to knock Chris Eubank Jr. out. A beat with an illegal elbow. He found a way. No, Beterbiev's Chechen, so he's more likely to be cheated by Russian judging than English or Europeans. Bob Arum in the press conference may as well have said Beterbiev is going to destroy Yarde. But he can't say that. Can't say that. I mean, Joe Smith was never knocked out or knocked down before Beterbiev. That's just my point. And Joe Smith was a better proven fighter than Anthony Yarde. So what are you trying to tell me? I don't. Resume is experience. And Liam Smith has done it. Don't leave it to the judges. He doesn't. I just don't see it. Don't see it. And foot pressure. Foot pressure. If Beterbiev is putting pressure on Yarde all the time, backing Yarde up, not allowing Yarde to get onto the front foot, pushing Yarde. If Beterbiev is using that jab and pushing Yarde back to the ropes, constantly putting foot pressure on Yarde, putting Yarde to the back of the, once Yarde's back is against the ropes, the fight is done. Mark my words, if Yarde's back is against the ropes in this fight, the fight is done. And that will be the strategy. Back Yarde to the ropes, use the jab, push him to the ropes, and then let go. When he's in his defensive mode. That's what I think. Beterbiev is a quintessential dude who does not like overtime. Don't be at work longer than you need to be. Sheesh, I know. Even if Yarde wins by a lucky shot, Yarde loses to any of the boxers, Joe Smith, Marcus, etc. Well, let me tell you, Yarde's a killer. Watch. Well, he may be a killer. He may be a killer. And that's fine on the streets of East London. But, you know, I don't know. Frank Warren will go to bed tonight dreaming of a Yarde KO and then a fight with Canelo in the summer at Wembley, LOL. Yeah, of course he'll be dreaming of it, but I have a funny feeling yet again that experience is going to tell in this fight, and experience and landmines. Steve, we know boxing over here, pal. Hey, I'm not doing no fantasy stuff here. I'm not doing no fantasy football here. I'm not doing no fantasy boxing. Experience, class. There's a reason why he's got 18-0 and 18 knockouts. And it's not 18-0 knockouts by people we don't know, right? Or overhyped people or people who... These are genuine world-class guys. So, you know, throw the damn towel, Frank Warren, tomorrow's fight. Flashbacks from Rocky 5. The two things I pray, that Yarde gets out of the fight safe and healthy, and B, if the boy is taking too much punishment, that the corner have sense to pull him out to fight another day. And 3, if Yarde goes back to the corner and he gets dropped early, he goes back to the corner. Now, if he gets dropped, that would be the first time, that would be experience he hasn't had in his career. going back to the corner. Do you know what this fight reminds me of? I'll tell you what this fight kind of reminds me of. I'll tell you the fight this reminds me of. When Nathan Cleverly fought Sergey Kovalev. That's what this fight reminds me of. And I remember talking to all the British fans saying, see this guy here, this Kovalev guy here. This guy is a serious hombre. And Cleverly fought nobody as good as this Kovalev guy. And this Kovalev guy, when he touches Cleverly's going to sleep. And I remember he said, no, Cleverly's going to do this. And Cleverly's got hand speed. And the minute that boy, Kovalev, touched Cleverly, you go back and look at that fight. As soon as he touched him, go back and look at that fight. I pray that fight, the same thing doesn't happen here. I pray. And absolutely shot to pieces, vodka binge drinking Kovalev, punish and stop Yarde with a jab. This is the truth. We've all seen Yarde overcome adversity. We've not seen Yarde overcome adversity yet. Beterbiev has been dropped, cut badly, drank the blood, and marched forward. Tomorrow is Judgment Day. I don't want to hear tomorrow about experience. If you haven't got the experience, you should not be in the ring fighting Beterbiev. 1, 2. I don't want to hear I wasn't prepared. You're prepared. You told us all you're prepared. You're ready. You're a lion. You're best shape. You're happy. You're prepared. You're good. You're relaxed. You're excited. You're jubilant. You're at home. You're in England. Okay. But Cleverly had a maths degree, LOL. You'll beat Kovalev on angles. Oh, LOL. 12 amateur fights. That's it. Listen, it's how Bob Arum's look at this. Is Bob Arum seeing Anthony Yarde as cannon fodder, or they see him as a legitimate test? He's going to get out safe and healthy with the belts. You know what, bruv? It's just what it is, isn't it? It is. Well, I would call this levels to beasts. That's what I'd call it. I would call this levels to beasts. And then when Anthony Joshua fights Jermaine Franklin, I'll call it Who's Fooling Who Part 2. He ain't going down. All right. Why? You going to hold him up, mate? But till he had 12 amateur fights in his nappies. I know. Right. Few things I want to tell you about that I have to tell you about. Let me see if I can get my camera on and see if I can tell you guys. Let me get this off. I want to tell you a few things. Right. A few things I want to tell you on the subject of boxing. Good evening, everybody. One thing I want to tell you all now. For those of you, this is for old schoolers. If you remember a game, it was on the Amiga. It was on the Commodore 64. It was on the Amstrad. And it was called World Championship Boxing Manager. Well, guess what? They've released the second. They're releasing the second version of it. It's going to come out on PC. It's going to come out on PlayStation. World Championship Boxing Manager. You even get to manage the careers of people like Sugar Ray Robinson and Rocky Marciano. So if you've ever played World Championship Boxing Manager 1, which was an absolutely legendary game at the time, if you remember, it was made by Gremlin. And on the front cover, it had Gary Mason. But check it out. Or a guy looked like Gary Mason. I'm going to invest in it, definitely. Oh, one final piece of information for you all that I want to share with you. Guys here, the monster from Ilford is coming, mate. You just know what? Eddie Earn pumped about the AJ fight. See here? Yarde was eating Kovalev's punches. He lost fatigue and experience only. The guys fought and had skills. He'll weave. Commodore 64 Amiga, you took me back to the 80s, Ingram. Yep. A modern type game, Ingram. Yes. If you can get it, even look at it on YouTube. World Championship Boxing Manager. literally, and you felt like a boxing manager. Like you just hear the commentators talking, like you just hear the punch land, boom, 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 and then when you land a big punch, you go, ooh, really good shot, really good game for its time. But now they're bringing it out. World Championship Boxing Manager 2. Do check the YouTube out on World Championship Boxing Manager 1. Check it out. Check out the Amiga version first, and then look at the update. Now, more news that you can use, as they say, on Sports Spectacular. Now, check this out. Remember I was telling you years ago that on my battles of wanting to get a level 3 in cricket? Well, on Monday morning, I begin the journey of becoming a level 3 cricket coach. And not just any level 3 coaching award. I'm going to be doing this coaching award with other professional, like elite cricketers that are playing either test cricket or playing one-day cricket currently in the world. 50 of us were selected. 50 of us were selected to do this course. And a massive shout out to Gary Kirsten and his team for allowing me or giving me the opportunity to do the course. So I start on Monday. I'm excited. It is hard already. I've got the level 2. I've got to do parts of that. And yeah, it's difficult. It's hard, but the opportunity to, once I pass that level 3, that means I'm able to coach. No longer am I going to be have the door shut in my face because I don't have a level 3 coaching award. Been chasing this award for the best part of 15 years of my life. And I always felt back in England that somehow or the other I would have to go to South Africa to go and do the course. Well, it's South African that's allowing me to do the course now. So God bless South Africa. So I just wanted to say that. Also, more news you can use. Don't be shocked when Yarde's standing out the beatdown to the boogeyman. Oh, okay. Right. And the final thing is, all channels are now back monetized under YouTube. So my personal YouTube channel is back. Got it monetized today. YouTube partner, Ingram Jones. Go across to my YouTube channel and check that out. Also, Lagos Cricket Academy is also now a YouTube partner. So that's got YouTube videos on it. Please get across and look at the videos on the channel. It's not just about cricket, but do get across and look at it. The program that I'm doing at the moment is sponsored by the UK, and it was actually UK High Commission that saw my work in Nigeria and wanted me to do further intervention work when I was coming back to England, or wanted to come back to England. And yeah, that's why I'm still here now. So yeah, really loving the work I'm doing. But so I just want to keep you updated. So all outstanding news. Shout out to Denise Wards, by the way. Denise, got to give you a shout out because it was you that inspired me to go and get my page back, my YouTube channel back, the Ingram Jones one. It was just sitting in the doldrums there. Had lots of videos on it, but yeah, that's been updated. So that's good news. Good news, but deserved. My brother, Leif Gramerson. What a brother. What a man. This man here, Leif Gramerson, down here. If you want a good man and a good friend and a brother, this man here. I can't say enough about this man, Leif Gramerson. Yes, Leif, it was well deserved. So, yeah, that's it. So, those are the stories I want to let you know. And of course, now I'm co-host on a show called Sports Spectacular on a national television station in Lagos, in Nigeria. And Nigeria's got over 200 million people. So, it's quite a few people to watch, to be on TV, to be a co-host on a show. So, talking sports. So, the one thing I wanted to do in sports was to become a co-host, and I'm really excited about that. And the reason why I'm in this room is because, believe it or not, I'm building a studio in my other room. So, I will upload videos on how the channel is built, the actual place is building, the room is building. Very nice indeed. You going live tomorrow? I'm going to try, bro. I'm going to try and go live tomorrow. I did the commentary last time, and I know how that worked out. I was commentating and went, Eubank is down. And I was just so stunned seeing Eubank go down that, yeah, then my connection went. But yeah, I'm going to try tomorrow night for sure and go live. But anyway, just want to share that information. Please get across to the Lagos Cricket Academy. Let me just flash the channel for you very quickly. Flash the channel for you. Check it out. Across to there, subscribe to the channel, and you'll see all the latest stuff. There's lots of videos out there. We're now doing a training program, which we're doing education and sports combined. It's a crime prevention program because we've got, where I live in Lagos, it's got very high crime rate, cyber crime, cultism, stuff like that. And we're doing these programs to combat that. So working with organization called Neem Foundation. They come in and they spend an hour with the young people after school in the classroom, and then afterwards they come out, and then I'll do an hour of coaching football with them or coaching cricket with them, and we've got football coaching. We'll do football coaching. So yeah, it's great stuff. I enjoy it. I really do. It's fun. I love that show. Thank you so much. Are you calling tomorrow night? I'm going to try my best to. I'm going to try my living best to. I'm going to try. So, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I think I've covered everything there. Tommy Fury versus, what's his name? Jake Paul. I actually think Jake Paul's going to win the fight. Dear me. And Conor Ben not sort of like cooperating with VADA. That's not good. That's not good at all. But I believe he's going to come back. Some rumor is that he's going to come back on an Aussie license and he's going to box Billy Dibbs. I hope not. I hope that's not true. We'll wait and see. But anyway, I think that's it for me. Unless there's anything else I have to say, I don't think so. Thank you all so much for watching BWTM Sports Gaming. Check out my new series. I've started it today. I've updated FIFA 23, latest players, and I'm using Frank Lampard's departure from Everton. And he has left Everton, and now he's at the Major League Soccer, an American team. And Lampard's over there now. And he's probably going to try and mess up the MLS team as well. Should be fun with good old Frankie Lampard. I'm not saying Billy Dibbs, on that type of level of opponent I'm talking about. That level of opponent, Billy Dibbs, that kind of level they're going to come back on. Yarde going to be knocked out cold. One good clean connection from between fist and chin. That's my concern right there. Prayers to him, and he's not available for Ben. Yeah, but yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, prayers obviously for Billy Dibbs, but it's that type of opponent, that type of level opponent is who they're going to be trying to target. So yeah. Right. So that's it for me. God bless you all. And I shall see you tomorrow night.